Are you serious about your health and fitness, but overwhelmed by the conflicting information and BS all over social media? Welcome to Fit Facts, brought to you by Brandon Pascual and Gabe Erno. With a combined 10 years of training experience, this physical therapist and personal trainer duo bring you the most up-to-date and applicable fitness and lifestyle tips based on the most cutting-edge research, bridged with field experience of what actually works and is sustainable for the long term. Enjoy.
Every time I sit down, I always have to moan.
Oh yeah, you do that like legit always?
Always, but sometimes I can stop myself, but I think it's just like a common thing now.
I like doing that too, like, or like even if I pick something up, I just like making like a sound, like, or sometimes when I'm walking, I'll be like, when I'm lifting shit sometimes, even in front of clients, I'll be like I just make a sound like that, you know? And then sometimes I'll make fun of me, they'll be like, that was hard for you. How do you expect me to do that?
No, I know what you mean.
And like normally, I have no ego about it, but like sometimes they'll fucking hit my ego.
Oh really?
Like there's this one guy, and like we like to kind of talk shit back and forth. We have good banter. One time he's like, "How do you expect me to lift that if you can't even lift it yourself?" And I like looked at him, and then I just like started single arm pressing it overhead because he got on my ego.
Dude, you got what you gotta do. Yeah, it is pretty funny because like I'll do like demonstration and my coach will be like, "You made that look so hard," and I was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm not warmed up yet." I just say I'm not warmed up because they are.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's real. It's real, especially if you have a stronger client. It's like, you know,
it's tough.
It's a real thing.
It is.
It's a real thing. But welcome to Fit Facts. My name is Gabe.
I'm Brandon.
And today we have a special topic that we'll get into in a moment. It was really funny because earlier we were doing some admin work and stuff, and we were using ChatGPT for it. And I looked in your ChatGPT, and the first thing that I saw was, can butterflies pee on you?
Yeah, so I'm going to explain that because I didn't get to explain it to you.
Okay.
So I was at the San Diego Fair. Shout out San Diego Fair. They have a butterfly exhibit. And then with the butterflies, they land on your hand. And then this one butterfly was on me for a very long time. For the whole exhibit pretty much until we were about to leave. Then it started like producing some like liquid down my hand.
Oh my god.
And then I searched it up and I was like, can butterflies pee on you? Of course I use ChatGPT.
Yes.
And then it's like, I guess it's not really their quote unquote piss. It's like just like, it's like their waste still. But they still didn't say urine. It's called meconium. Meconium. And then after that I followed up with, is meconium toxic? And it's not, so. Okay. Yeah, so I'm alive.
So you were just stressing. You were
I was just like.
I just get peed on by a toxic butterfly?
Because it already felt weird with their legs like all on me. So I'm like, oh shit, it's weird as fuck. Yeah.
And then after, you said, what is a show goat? Because I'm assuming you were looking at goats.
Yeah, we were looking at
the fair.
The goat.
And then after that, it said, how much does a show goat cost? So I'm assuming that the logical next step was you started to think, should I start raising show goats myself?
Yeah. It's so funny how you can see someone's chat history, search history, and be like, damn, what was on your mind that time? But it's because I saw the show goat competition. Yeah. And I was like, oh, hey, these goats are pretty cool. And I heard that like the prizes are pretty good to when you win.
Really?
The first prize is like around like 50K maybe?
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then when you do that, you have to think about like the investment in the goats because the grooming's a lot. To even buy the goat is a lot. To train them is a lot.
So you might potentially just break even or
break even unless a lot of people I heard they do the training on their own.
Okay.
To save money. And then they also do the grooming on their own. So I'm like, I mean, that is from like that part of like the country where it's very southern. And they do like to, just raise goats and all that.
If you need a good hypertrophy split for one of your goats, let me know because I'm a trainer of people. But I could train a goat.
Honestly, I feel like
I could get a goat jacked.
No, we were talking to one of the people who own a goat, and they were saying like, "Oh, how often do you walk the goat?" And they're like, the goats actually walk themselves.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so
that's easy.
It's not like you put them on a leash and then let's go on a walk. I think they get their exercise because they're out on the field. They don't stay in like their.
You need property for that.
They don't stay in your apartment. Yeah. Just like chill around there and just like eat your pillows and all that.
Oh my god,
Brandon. My ChatGPT explanations.
Can you tell I'm a little hungover right now, Brandon?
Yes.
You can?
I've been there.
You've been there? Yep.
I've been there 10 years ago.
But I'm here, we made a commitment, and we're doing it, and we're giving advice to the people. And this podcast is actually related to the fact that I went out last night, had a couple too many drinks, because today's podcast is the effects of alcohol on your fitness goals. So we'll just be going over a couple main points on how alcohol actually impacts performance, muscle recovery, but also the mental sides of it as well. So Brandon, without further ado, why don't you kick off that first point and we'll just jump right in.
All right. Well, the first point, let's already talk about it. It's muscle recovery. All right. So Go ahead.
So yeah,
a little better.
If you know you're working out, you're gonna create inflammation, muscle damage, and obviously you need to recover from that, right?
Yeah.
And muscle protein synthesis is like one of the most important things. Like that's what we're looking for to gain muscle, recovery, right? Yeah. Well, what is inhibited by alcohol? Muscle protein synthesis. Mm-hmm. So not only are you just overall inhibiting recovery, but you're also, inhibiting the process of gaining muscle. So for anyone who wants to, quote unquote, get jacked, drinking is going to impair that process, make it a little more difficult. Mm-hmm. Not to mention, I don't want to see. Oh yeah, we'll get into the other parts in a moment. Yeah. But that's really the main thing. Is it's going to impair that recovery process, and recovery is huge. And it's also going to impact sleep.
Sleep, yeah.
So it's impacting your muscle protein synthesis. It's impacting your sleep. Sleep is one of the biggest factors in recovery, if not the biggest factor. Yeah. And it's just not good.
Right? Because I guess sleep patterns are number 2. Because I guess when we sleep, a lot of people, especially when you're drunk, you go to bed and you probably sleep for like 12 hours because you're hungover.
Potentially, yeah.
But you're not in that deep sleep.
You're not in your REM sleep.
You're not in your REM sleep.
Yeah.
Or it takes you a while to get into there. Or maybe when you drink alcohol, I guess studies show that you don't really get to that REM sleep quite as often compared to if you were to fall asleep sober. So it does impair your sleep cycle and sleep pattern, and that sleep cycle of being that REM stage is where you get the most muscle growth and recover.
Totally. So if you ever have like a Whoop band or an Apple Watch and you look at your recovery versus sober.
Yeah.
And drunk sleeping, you're going to see terrible recovery from the drunk sleeping.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not deep in that.
Right? Yeah, I have a Whoop band every time, when I used to drink a lot.
Yeah.
Even when I would sleep for 8 hours, 9 hours, it would still say 1 to 5%.
That little.
Yeah, that little. And it's all red, insane. And I'd be like, holy shit. It's very shameful. And that's why you see people on Instagram posting screenshots of 1%. And it's hashtag if you know, you know.
Oh, that's really funny.
Because no one would ever get 1% from something that's non-alcohol. Or,
yeah.
You know what I mean? From a sober activity. Unless you went to bed for 1 minute after running a marathon.
That's such a party person / fitness person thing to post.
Yeah.
The Whoop band screenshot 1%. That subtly implies that you got very drunk the night before. That's so funny.
It's if you know, you know. And then with the Whoop band, you could also see where you were in deep sleep and all that.
Oh, it's very interesting.
Use my promo code. I'm just kidding. I don't have a promo code. We should though. Right,
one day.
We're promoting Whoop right now.
Also, this isn't. We can't show the logos.
We can't show this. That
Kirkland. Oh, I said it. Next, when you get drunk, what starts to happen? You start to go home, and all of a sudden, the stomach starts to rumble. You pull out your phone, you get Uber Eats.
Yep.
You just want to eat things.
Yeah.
And that's because your appetite is going to be really increased, and you're going to have less discretion with what you eat.
Exactly.
So not only are you generally going to increase your calorie intake, not just with drinking alcohol. Mm-hmm. Alcohol is calories. So just off drinking, you're going to be drinking more calories. Then you're going to be hungry. You're not going to be really thinking of, hey, I'm drunk right now. Do you know what I could go for? Chicken and broccoli. That just sounds really great. It's never that. It's
you kind of have to train yourself to do that, though.
Yeah. But most people, it's going to be let's go for a California burrito. Let's go for
carne asada fries.
Carne asada fries.
My go-to was Denny's.
Denny's.
That Moons Over Miami. I feel we talked about that on one episode.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. It was Moons Over Miami. It was very nice. Quite all around. But it's crazy how I have one client who's preparing for his bachelor party. It's at a beach.
Yeah.
And then he's saying oh, I'm not gonna eat anything that whole day, so he can look very lean and all that. But I was like, okay, cool. And then he said, so I'm gonna be on 0 calories. I'm just gonna have beer only and shots. I'm like, hey, beer and shots have alcohol, right?
Yeah.
And then he thought it was maybe 60 calories, maybe. He thought it was only 50 or 60 calories. Then I showed him a shot of his favorite drink is Jameson. I showed him that and he's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So, I showed him
probably 100 calories per shot.
Yeah, he's 110, 120. Yeah. And then he also likes beer also. So that's around 90 to 110.
For a light beer?
Yeah, for a light
Grab
beer.
yourself an IPA.
I was going to say, it's so crazy how they thought that it was minimal calories.
Yeah, totally.
And they think that just because it says 60, even if it was 60 calories, they think that they can keep drinking it because it's low calorie, but it still adds up.
Totally.
If you have 10 drinks of a 60 calorie beer, then that's already 600 calories right there. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
I think even they do a lot of marketing with like, I think you've had before, like the skinny girl vodka, I think, is that what it's called?
Skinny margarita.
Skinny margarita.
Yeah.
And I think what they do is all they do is reduce the ABV. So it's just less alcohol.
Less alcohol, yeah.
So it's less calories because it's less alcohol.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like, alcohol has calories in it.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. I was like, oh, damn. But it's good. It's still good to have something in your hand.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. I get that.
Yep.
Finally, this is very, in your domain.
Oh, yeah.
Risk of injury.
Risk of injury
is going to skyrocket.
Oh, yeah.
Partly because of sleep.
Sleep.
But in the moment, if you're intoxicated, you're losing all your motor skills, like your inhibitions are dropping. Man, I've done some crazy stuff intoxicated. I think I've like sprinted into the ocean in like the middle of the night, like just
Actually, I have done that also at, in Pacific Beach bars when I first turned 21 in PB. I was like, let's go to the water, and then I went in the water, fully clothed in my jeans.
I relate fully. So.
Yeah, but this point actually goes back to like same thing as like how it reduces muscle recovery, aka like reduces muscle performance. So if someone's on like some kind of like strength program or Olympic lifting or maybe just like a marathon running program, and they're trying to condition their muscles to actually be used correctly when they're striking their foot on the ground or lifting something overhead, maybe when they have like 2 drinks the night before, those muscles that they've been training for those weeks prior to that training session, maybe they're not working as well because it hasn't fully recovered. That's when they start to amp the intensity of their training level that day. That's when maybe, oops, I think I inflamed one of my tendons.
Yeah.
Or like maybe I tweaked something in my back from lifting something overhead.
Yeah.
So it also it's like a little more indirect.
Totally.
Unless someone does work out drunk. or hungover the next day, yeah.
and not only that, you have less ability to exert power. So let's say you're going for a heavy bench press set, you're just simply not going to be able to have as much oomph to your set.
Exactly.
To just put it simply, you don't have that same drive. Your neural drive, I guess, would be lower substantially.
Yeah, and that's because alcohol is a central nervous system depressor.
It's a depressant, 100%. So definitely it's not the best for performance goals. It's not the best if you want to stay injury-free, have good recovery, have good sleep, have a reasonable amount of calories consumed. That doesn't mean we still don't do it occasionally, but I think for both of us, as we've gotten older, as our fitness goals and our personal goals have become more important to us, you just start to realize, okay, this has a real cost.
Yeah.
This has an effect on my life. This has an effect on my goals, and okay, I need to reduce or eliminate this to achieve what I want and to live the lifestyle that I want, which is health and fitness.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't mean like this isn't like a don't drink.
This isn't a don't drink
because I know like so many successful people, like whether for their fitness goals and like business goals, personal goals, who like have a drink like maybe once or twice a week. But it's all about like personal preference, because the thing with alcohol, it's not like it once you drink it doesn't mean your gains are over. It doesn't mean you're gonna get injured immediately. It doesn't mean you're gonna only have shitty sleep. You also have to take consideration of the fact that the day after you will be a little lazier and you may not be at your full potential or at your 100% performance versus if you were sober going into that day.
And that's kind of what happened today. I almost didn't come in because last night I consumed a fair amount of alcohol, and I woke up today. I didn't feel great.
Yeah.
I still came in. We're doing the podcast. I feel like we're putting some good content out right now.
I feel like we are. We're talking real shit right now.
It was harder, right? It wasn't as easy. And if you hadn't been there to keep me accountable, I probably wouldn't have done this. So it's been interesting to see for you, in your journey, you've pretty much eliminated all alcohol intake from your life.
Yeah.
Because for your goals, you didn't see the benefit. And I think I'm a little different, where I still do drink, but I've definitely reduced the frequency with which I drink. Because again, I saw the same thing. I'm like, okay, this is just, it's going to impair too many things. And if I'm doing this all the time, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the danger, also, I do drink once a quarter, everyone, by the way.
Okay.
I'm not totally abstaining from it. But I will also say, some people, when they do, they kind of reduce the frequency of how much they drink.
Yeah.
Then they have that behavior where they start binging when they get that opportunity. Let's say the next time you're going to drink. Like, for me, if I drink once a quarter, if I drink at, when I'm going to be overseas, in August.
Yeah.
And if I was, really thinking about that time. I can't wait to drink. I'm gonna be binging the hell out of that day. And just
Well, are you?
Probably not. I'm gonna try to control myself.
Yeah, probably not.
It's a long time, 3 nights.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah, I hear you. And I mean, obviously, there's a lot that goes into that like maybe we're not experts on, as far as, you know, some people have certain genes that are going to predispose them to kind of having a dependence on it. And but also, I think what you're saying just applies generally from a behavioral standpoint. Like with eating, it's some people, they restrict themselves on the diet.
Yeah.
And then when they have that treat, that sweet, finally, they just can't hold back.
Yeah.
They have to go all the way in. So at the end of the day, I think alcohol consumption is very personal. It's like you need to know the risks, you need to know how it's going to impact your life. And at the end of the day, you have to be able to make the decision and know yourself. Like, if I'm going to drink and I know I'm the type of person who just can't stop, maybe I should do that less. You know? And that's what I found for myself. Like, when I drink, I like to just keep drinking. For you, from my perspective, you're able to like have 1 or 2 drinks.
For now, actually I did best. It's turned into like from fitness like an AA conversation. Also, I was supposed to link down there if you are struggling with some kind of like alcoholic behavior. But you should kind of like figure out like, why are you actually having those drinks? That's what actually my mentors told me. Like, why are you drinking? Why do you have to do that in that social situation? Why are you doing that every weekend? You know what I mean? And
it's interesting too, because I have some friends to where we'd always drink together when I hung out, and I almost felt this pressure a little bit, like if we make plans to hang out, I was just assuming we were gonna drink. And then I kind of took like, I wouldn't say courage, but it took me to be like, hey, I don't really want to drink, just a heads up, like I don't want to drink right now. And it was usually very well received. Like, people aren't usually like aggressive, like, what the heck, man?
Pour a beer in your
People
mouth.
are usually like totally get it. Because at the end of the day, like, you know, if somebody's relationship with you is only precipitated on drinking, if every time you hang out with someone, you guys are drinking together, that's the only time you hang out, that probably says something about the quality of the relationship. Like, it's okay to have friends and drinks with, but if they're not your friend when you're not drinking, you know, and I think this is getting into like a deeper, more philosophical episode now. But that's kind of what I think.
All right, but anyways, call that number down below in the link in the description.
Definitely,
if you need help. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode about alcohol. Just remember, everything is okay in moderation. Seek help if needed. But I'm Brandon.
And I'm Gabe.
This is Fit Facts. See you on the next one.
Peace.